Welcome to Better with Beers podcast, episode 14. Brandon and Alex are all back at it again with you guys. Say hi.
Hey,
What's up?
yo.
Hey. We are, if you haven't noticed, we are doing a winter themed podcast tonight because of the apparently, I don't know, global warming, winter vortex, whatever's going on, at least in the US right now. It's a winter wonderland everywhere. Is it not?
Everywhere. Yes, everywhere, including the deserts.
The desert. One of the things we'll be talking about later on in a little while is Texas. Texas is a big thing right now. It doesn't typically see, let alone snow, let alone a complete frozen catastrophe where they're losing power and water and all that across the entire state.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's insane. And then not only that, so I was talking to my sister earlier. We FaceTime or not FaceTime, WhatsApp. We video chat on there every Friday. The U.S. is going through this whole winter crap, and they're over there in the 60s right now in Germany.
Really?
Which is not, yes, they're in the 60s right now, which is not normal. They're saying it's not
Man.
normal. So it's like the whole entire world flip flopped.
That's funny.
How's that make you feel, Agor?
Right?
It's crazy.
Oh, man.
So I don't know what's going on, but we'll get more into that here shortly. We're going to feature some beers. We decided to feature a specific style of beer tonight.
Yeah.
I think was Alex's idea.
Yes.
Yes, Alex's idea. It's a Bells and Triples. So we're all featuring Bells and Triples. Although I think Earl kind of maybe went a
Yeah,
little
I couldn't
bit
find a
outside
triple.
triple.
I went with the quad, but
To
pretty
be
damn
honest, so the one beer store that I always go to, and there's a lot of beer stores. There's a lot of bigger ones I could have went to, but the one local one I go to is a smaller one. I was looking all up and down the aisles. I really only found two Bells and Triples for whatever reason. I don't know why. So I picked one of those. But yeah, I had a hard time finding one too. I was lucky I found these. Otherwise, I'd be
It's not a super popular beer right now. I mean,
yeah.
honestly, like this time of year, I mean, obviously you got your seasonal beers that come out, but a lot of these breweries, they really push some of the heavier beers during the winter. Especially in some of the northern
stouts and
states. And
porters and all
then,
that. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
and then and honestly, like right now, the trend for that beer that just about every brewery is trying to get their own little spin on is hazies. I mean, they're everywhere.
That drives me crazy.
yeah.
I can't stand those trendy things.
That beer store I go to, tons of hazies.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
tons of IPs in general, but tons of hazies all over the place.
All the TikTokers are drinking.
I mean, I do love the hazies, but yeah, it's definitely trending right now. I'd rather I'm more for the hazies trending than when the sours are trending because I don't like
I agree. I
like
agree. I'm
I'm
not a sour
glad
fan.
I'm glad they're finally dying off a little bit because I'm not down for that.
I think they were pushing those so many non-craft beer drinkers were starting to come onto that because all these craft breweries that are opening up everywhere and it's attracting crowds and bands and food trucks and everyone's like, let's go here. This is where it's happening. And everyone's like, that IPA, what is that? That sounds like someone peed my drink or, it's just, they just can't handle these really robust craft beers.
Yeah.
So they end up with these gateway beers
Yeah.
that are a lot more tolerable to people who aren't used to a real beer. Let's just say that.
Let's be honest too. It's the hipsters that started that sour
Yeah.
crap down
Yeah.
in DC, over in California. Okay, sorry if I offend anybody. I'm not trying to offend anybody. I'm just saying. I feel like that's
No,
where it's. I feel
you're
like
a hipster, own
I
it.
feel like that's where it started. Hey, I tried to do the hipster thing. Well, I was going to try to do this thing last week, but it didn't work. Anyway, but I can't pull off the hipster. I think it started, in DC, California. I don't know. Hey, California's a whole nut show as it is, but that's a whole
Yeah.
nother story.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're doing a winter theme tonight. I guess we'll go ahead and just feature our beers to start out with, and for doing, I said the Belgian triples. Alex, you want to start out? I'll let you start.
Sure. Yeah. So I went with I'm probably going to completely butcher this name because this beer it was brewed and bottled in Belgium. And it is a Belgian triple ale brewed with three different types of hops. It's called Houblon Chauffé.
Ooh,
Is
sounds fancy.
it's my best interpretation of what these letters mean.
We'll go.
And it's I mean it's really interesting to be honest, like when you go, so the biggest thing about Belgian beers, they're all a little bit kind of like sweet. You know, a lot of people say they kind of have that I don't know, just a very unique type of like candy almost, you know, flavor
It
to them.
does. Very
And a
unique.
lot of that comes from the different types of yeast that go into the actual Belgians. And there's so many different spins of yeast. And some beer, like it's one of the things that I just noticed when I was looking for this particular one is, you know, it doesn't necessarily have to be a like you know just like a Belgian like it could be brewed in Belgium and be an IPA and considered a Belgium IPA triple, which is exactly what this is. So this is
Belgian
a
Oh,
IPA triple.
it's a
Belgium
Belgian IPA
IPA
triple.
triple.
Well, I mean,
Wow.
with all those hops, I guess that makes sense. But that's interesting.
Wait,
I'm
Yeah.
jealous now.
I'm jealous too. Have you tried it yet?
No, it's
Oh,
you know
okay.
sealed up, one bottle.
How
It's going to be
how
going to my Viking cup. So
I think kind of fits the winter theme as well because
Yes.
yeah,
it's cold as hell up there in what, Norway, Sweden, all those countries up there
yeah.
where all the Vikings were. What's the alcohol percentage on that?
So the alcohol is
Belgians are
9%.
strong.
It's 9%. However, it had a nice thick layer of dust on the bottle from sitting on the shelves for
That
so
makes it so
long.
much better.
I have no idea what it really is because,
That's
of
awesome.
course, you know, another little fun fact about some of the higher alcohol content beers is sometimes they age well in their bottles and their ABV can slightly change because when you bottle these beers, some of that yeast that was made to ferment the beer in the either primary or secondary fermenter, depending on the process, makes it into the bottle
Oh, there
along
will
with
be
some of the
yeast in that
priming
bottle.
sugars.
There will be yeast in that bottle, 100%. They don't. I don't think they don't filter Belgians most of the time.
Right. So there is still alcohol being created very, very slowly and a very minuscule amount, but still alcohol being produced over time in this bottle. So, you know, just like wine,
So
some of the higher alcohol content beers, which another thing Belgian beers are typically known for, and at least the types of yeast that you find in these beers, is that the yeast can survive in higher alcohol environments. So,
so if you
who knows?
wanted to, you could buy like multiple bottles and age them like longer if you wanted to.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. As a matter of fact, there's a couple different styles of beer that I'm sure we'll end up showcasing at some point on one of these podcasts
Well,
that you can age. And I know a couple times, like I've aged this particular type of beer, and then right before I go to crack it open to see like what a 3-year beer tastes like, I'll buy a brand new one that was
yeah.
bottled that year and kind of
Mhm.
compare the two. And
That's the way
there's
to
a
do it.
lot of different changes that happen. I mean, the real
Yeah.
high alcohol content beer that was just bottled typically tastes a little boozy sometimes, and almost like a mixed drink. And then over time, that booziness kind of
Yeah.
settles down a little bit, and you really get a lot of the flavors that went into all the hard work of making that actual beer.
The first time you told me about that was with the dogfish, was it fortified?
Fortified
No,
Fruitful Fort.
for
Fruitful
Fort.
Four. I
Yeah,
always get
that's.
that wrong.
I
Fruitful
got one
Four.
that's 2 years old
And
upstairs right
you
now.
got me a 4-pack. Said drink one or whatever two now, but save two for later. And then when you save those and age them later, then buy a new 4-pack and then taste the
Mhm.
difference.
Yeah.
Usually, rule of thumb with aging is more than 9%, preferably more than 10% are ageable. But still, not all beer ages equally. It's just like wine. Not all
Yeah.
wine is good aged. It's just even if it's a high ABV beer. Like I'd be honest, I don't know that 90-minute, or a double IPA is always going to be great age. Some are, but
Right.
not all of them. So yeah,
Yeah.
but Belgian could because it's got a lot of characters that can still be brought out.
All right, Alex. Well, while you pour that, we'll let Earl go next because I know his is an actual import.
Well, yeah, well, I got two because I liked both, and so I bought both. I couldn't find a triple, specifically, and so
Yeah.
I got it's a quad, so it's a quadruple,
Which
which basically
which is better.
which is better. It's at least one more better.
Yeah.
So, which usually that means that they just use the typical because there's double Belgians, there's triples, there's quads. Usually they use that. Excuse me, that much more wheat. Belgians usually have a whole lot of wheat in it. So this is Boulevard, 6 glass quadruple ale, Boulevard Brewing Company, out of I think I said Missouri earlier, right? I saw it on there. Oh yeah, Kansas City. Yeah, Kansas City, Missouri. So that is 10.2%,
Oh
20,
man.
22 IBUs. So not nearly as much hops as Alex is going to have. And then I also have an import, a Saison. It's a Belgian farmhouse ale, which is I've had before. It is fantastic, from Belgium. So there's Belgian as a category. There's Belgian triples is a type of Belgian. There's a lot of different types of Belgians. So Belgian itself is a category. So yeah, I'm excited. I love if you want to get into beer, like some people like to taste beer and like a good stout, like, oh, I love that roasty coffee taste, but that's it. I just want to
Yeah.
drink the beer. If you want beers that are going to be complex and just something you can sit and think about all the different flavors you're tasting and smelling, IPAs are good for that. But probably the better one for that are going to be the Belgians, especially the higher ABV Belgians, because they're going to be so much more complex.
So you said the IBUs on that was what, 26? You said, or
22.
22.
22.
So
So compare that to like
re-
a 60-minute IPA
well,
that's 60.
remind me again. So you said it's over 10%, but it's only that IB.
IBU's got to have nothing to do with the alcohol. IBUs
Okay.
usually give you an idea of the how bitter it's going to be. IBUs
Okay.
are
Yeah.
international
Right. Okay.
bittering units, and they tally the IBUs based on the hops that they add, and the alpha acids are different in the different varieties of hops.
Okay.
So they say, "All right, we're adding this much Cascade, we're adding this much of alpha, or this much of Citra, or whatever." All of them have different alpha acidity levels, and so they use a calculation to say, "All right, this is how much we're adding, so this is how many the IBUs are going to be," and all it does is gives you an idea of how bitter the beer might be.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
But this is actually
I wanted you to remind me
sorry.
because I finally got a beer that actually tells me the IBU on it.
Yeah.
IBUs on it, which is
Yeah. So yeah, you find like porters are going to be in the 20s usually, maybe 30 IBUs.
right because they're not
The
as bitter.
IPAs are going to be in the the high numbers.
Higher. Yeah.
So look, nice and dark,
That's really dark. Nice.
good head.
Right.
Have
And
you
it
tried?
had
Have you tried either one of these before? Or is it your first time?
I've had the other one, not
Okay.
this quad.
Alex, how was yours?
Oh, that's good.
I haven't taken a sip yet, but I was gonna say I was waiting for you guys to finish talking. I poured it, just sitting it right here in front of me and smelling it. Like I don't even have to put my nose over it. It's gonna be strong. Like even though it only says 9%, it smells like I'm in a brewery right now.
That's a good
It's-
smell.
This is a
Yeah.
relatively dark Belgian quad too. A lot of times
That's
they're
pretty-
lighter,
Yeah,
almost
they are
yellow
lighter
color.
usually. Yeah. For
Yeah,
sure.
so this one's got probably a lot more roasted malts in it. So that's interesting. It's good. It doesn't blow me away, but it is good. I
Yeah.
like it.
This
Oh, go ahead.
beer is thick. I mean, it literally
It feels-
feels like I
it tastes
took a
heavy?
slice off of it and just ate it. I've never had this thick of a Belgian before. This is blowing my mind right now. I
Mind's
mean,
blown.
well, when you think of like thick, you think of like stouts and maybe even some porters
Yeah,
could
yeah,
be considered
yeah.
thick. But man, this is a thick Belgian.
So a thumbs
Good.
up.
I like it.
you
Yeah,
got, Brandon?
thumbs up.
So I mean, so my beer is not as intricate as yours guys. I don't think so. I was telling them before we started recording this episode. Uh, I go to a local beer store. It's a smaller one. I do have bigger ones around that have more of a selection. I probably could have found a better Belgian triple, but the one I went to, for whatever reason, they're full of IPAs, hazy IPAs. That's like we were talking about. That's kind of the thing right now beforehand. So I found a couple Belgian triples in there. I went with this one because I'm familiar with the brewery. I've had their beers before. It's a Great Lakes Brewing Company. They're based out of Cleveland, Ohio. It's called Triple Dog Dare.
Cool.
I can actually show it because there's no green.
Yeah,
on
it looks good.
That's some pretty cool art right there.
The art's actually cool, and actually, this time I picked it just because not based off the art, based off the fact it was a Belgian triple, but the art actually ends up being
Actually,
cool.
it's cool, and it's a brewery you like, so it's easier to make that
Yep,
decision too when you know that you've had good experiences.
I've had them before, very good. I've already been kind of drinking it, so already it is good. I do.
It is good.
If I had to rate it, on tap, I'd probably give it a solid 4. I would definitely buy it again for sure. It comes in a 4-pack. It's 9%. So I feel like all Belgians, I feel like 9 or more, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Sometimes you get down to 8, but yeah.
The
Usually.
IBUs for this is 30, so
Okay.
it's definitely got maybe a little more bitterness or flavor profile than yours, the one you're having now, Earl.
Yep.
If that's the right way to say it. Yeah, no,
Cool.
it's a very popular, not a very it's not a small brewery. Great Lakes all over the place, but it's a solid beer. I think a lot of people watching this podcast could have probably I don't know if you can find it down where you're at, Earl, but like there's a high chance you could. This is
I've seen
produced.
Great Lakes down here, but I think it's
Okay,
like a mass produced ones.
that's what I'm
Like
saying. So
it sounds like that's more specialty.
so the benefit of like you watching this podcast, you might be able to find this in your local beer store to try it out. So it's definitely a good beer. Um, and there you go. I approve.
That's awesome. Oh wow, it's getting better.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. I've taken a couple sips now, and it's getting better as because the first sip it was pretty good. It was thick. It wasn't like crazy flavor out there, but so first off, with it being a 9%, doesn't taste like a 9%. I can't taste any of the booziness or anything like that at all. I mean, it tastes like a 4%, to be
I mean,
honest.
that's good
Good thing.
because like it does kind of suck when you have a beer that just tastes too strong sometimes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I guess it's bad in the sense that it can sneak up on you. If
It
you're
turns you
drinking
off though, and it
But
neuters
yeah.
all the flavors you really want to
It
taste in the
does.
beer.
It does.
Yeah.
It does really because because I definitely had some beers that are you get to like 10, 11, 12%, and it just tastes too strong sometimes. Like
Yeah.
even though it might be a good beer, it just throws it off because it's all you taste. You don't get to appreciate the actual flavor of
That's right.
you know. But
I agree.
all right, so
That's awesome.
that's our beers for tonight. So before we go into talking about what's going on in the state of weather, I thought it'd be kind of cool to talk about what some of our since it's winter time still, like what and it don't have to be beer. It could be any kind of drink. I know it's a beer podcast, but what's kind of your favorite drinks, alcohol drinks, alcohol drinks to drink during the winter? I don't know. It could be beer related. It could be liquor related,
Cocoa.
whatever. But like it has to be alcohol related. Some
Oh,
alcohol
okay.
involved. But
Hey, you ever put peppermint schnapps in hot cocoa? I mean,
that's fine. I mean,
I could see that working just because I put candy canes in my hot cocoa before and that worked. I could see that working.
that's
so
are better. Those are
I
adult candy canes.
I definitely love. I mean, speaking of like coffee, like an Irish coffee, is awesome. Or really any whiskey and coffee, I love. Um, I mean, on some weekends, like sometimes on a Sunday or whatever, some people. I don't want to say mainly females. I mean, I like mimosas and stuff, just like any other whoever. Like on Sundays, like on brunch or whatever. But even like a coffee with some whiskey or like an Irish coffee, like really good in the wintertime, nice and warm. If you want to get a little alcohol or whatever, that's really good. Me personally.
Yeah, that's the thing. When you think about things like mimosas, it's a really spritzy, refreshing type of drink. So it'd be more of a summery type thing, anyways. Unless you're just looking for you happen to have champagne and you just looking for a reason to use it. But yeah, you think about warm, you want to, even though alcohol makes you feel warm, it really doesn't make you warm. But you want a hot beverage and to go along with that. That's usually quintessential cold.
That's
weather.
true, and that's true. But it don't have to be a hot beverage. Like so,
Yeah.
like for example, like it all depends on what point, what point of winter we're talking about. Like we're talking about like end of fall, getting into winter. That's obviously your pumpkin type beers.
Yeah, that's right.
Kind of get you into the winter mood. Your cinnamon spices, nutmeg, that kind of stuff.
I
Which is
love me
really
some
good.
Oktoberfests.
Oktoberfest. That's obviously like
Mhm.
big words with me are bad. We know this past episode. Oh my god, why am I having a hard time saying this?
Quintessential.
Quintessential. I'm glad you.
I got,
How did you know that's
got
what
you.
he was
I
trying
got
to
you.
say?
Right?
Because he said I
Quit.
got you. That's all I needed.
I got in my head there, and I knew I was gonna say it wrong.
That's how I with like
beer.
movies. Like we'll be getting ready to watch a movie. It's just coming on TV, one of those random old movies, like a '90s movie, and I'll see like 3 seconds of it. Like it could be the freaking credits. It's like I know what movie that is. I haven't seen it in 20 years, but I know what it is.
Yeah.
Funny. But yeah, I don't know. Like we were talking about that earlier. Like what would be a good? Like I got to thinking about it. Obviously, I can pick up beers for all seasons of the year. But when it comes to just drinks, adult beverages in general, I
Yeah,
don't. I don't
during the winter times or something. What's your go-to kind of? It don't have to warm you up. It could be like what's your go-to kind of winter beer or alcoholic beverage?
oh,
I think
beer would definitely be stout.
Oktoberfest. Oh,
No,
stout.
no, no. Wintertime would be a stout.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that for me personally, and I know a lot of people go porters, but porters is more like a springtime thing for me personally because I like the smoky porters and um, I like really vanilla heavy porters, but like I like a really roasty, like dry almost to the mouth, like a coffee or oatmeal stout.
That is true.
Um,
I feel like
Founders Founders breakfast stout is very good.
something heavier like that. I really feel like when it's hot and like in the summertime when it's hot out, you don't want to drink it like a heavy stout like that. But in the wintertime,
Yeah.
that's like the best time to really drink something like that.
I wonder if it's
I
like
agree.
also like subconsciously, there's a lot of calories in those really thicker beers. And like you want to pack on calories in colder weather anyways.
Right?
So
I
I
mean,
wonder if
yeah.
part of it is you're actually kind of craving those extra calories in that really thick and denseness of the type of beer as opposed to like a light lager in the hot of the summertime or something like that.
But
It's like a primal survival instinct.
I'm thinking I just probably it could be a thing. It's like you're craving calories just like you crave salt when you're hot and sweaty, you know, it's
yeah.
weird.
Right.
And plus like during the winter is when most people aren't like caring about, working out or
Right,
whatever.
right, right.
That's when
It's
people
not
like
bathing suit weather.
it's not bathing suit weather.
Yep.
So
You
why
don't.
not?
I don't have to shave
That's
my
when you can
legs or anything because I'm wearing long
exactly.
pants all the time.
Yeah. I don't shave my legs until April 1st.
Right.
So anyway, yeah, so stouts during the winter for sure. Oh, you
I,
guys
sh-
didn't react to that. So is that when
I
you
shaved the
you wait,
tops.
you,
I
you
shaved the
wait, you
tops.
wait till April 1st too?
You know, I've learned not to be so surprised by you, Brandon. So.
Hey, I shaved the tops of
That's
my
true.
toes. Makes me more aerodynamic when I fight.
I forgot. If we're talking about shaving with Alex, that's a whole different level.
Oh my god.
Although you're Alex's brother, so I don't know, it might be the same.
No, there's some things even brother doesn't want to know about.
No, I'm saying like he's Sasquatch underneath there. Let's just say.
Oh no.
But
No,
anyway,
so I hate to be kind of a copycat, Brandon, but I'm gonna have to pick the Irish coffee as my. But see, that's not just my go-to in the winter. That's my go-to in general. So like my wife and I would go out to, dinner and have a great dinner regardless of where we're at. Hopefully a place that serves alcohol for starters. And they come back around and right before we get the check they ask if we want anything for dessert. My go-to is always an Irish coffee. That's my dessert is an Irish coffee.
Now, is that with
Exactly.
Irish? Is that with Irish whiskey or like an Irish cream, like a Bailey's or something?
Both.
Both or either one's good. Like
No,
both at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay.
both
Yeah,
at the same time,
so-
both at the same time is really good.
Okay. I've never had both at the same time. I've had either or.
But I can do either or. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, typically Irish coffee is coffee, Jameson, and Bailey's.
So when
That's-
the waiter
Yeah,
asks you
Bailey's.
want Irish whiskey or cream, you say yes.
I tell them no. So a lot of times they ask me if I want like the like all the whipped cream and crap on top, and I don't want any of
Yes!
that. Like just no,
Oh,
I don't.
Sorry,
No.
I do.
Brandon said, "I want a
don't.
mustache when I drink it."
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh,
I want it to look like I'm drinking a normal coffee. So not like
non-alcoholic.
right. I'm incognito.
I don't.
It's like I watched it. So I watched one of these whiskey channels I watch on YouTube. An episode they were talking about flasks, just in general. It's like this is what we're going to talk about because all these different kinds and what's the best way to clean them, this, that, and the other. And they're talking about all the different challenges with flasks, and like one thing's like how to clean it, and they did different ways and best way to clean it. And the last challenge was how to walk around and pull it out and not look like an alcoholic. Like you can't just
It's
leave home
impossible.
and not have a drink.
No.
It's like there's a little stereotype there that you got to try to. It's hard to
Yeah.
avoid.
But there's so many companies out there today that specifically make discreet
Yes.
alcohol containers.
Yeah.
But the question still
And-
stands: how badly do you need alcohol you have to carry around with you all the time?
Look, it's more like a novelty.
I'm not judging. I'm just saying
thing.
that doesn't change the question. It's like now I just hide it better so people are judging me less. That
Yeah.
doesn't change the question.
Well, like so here, for example, so a while back, Brandon had a birthday party and it was themed, and the theme was to bring or wear or bring food that started with a B or a P for obviously Brandon Pierce. So I brought and the second caveat was that you
Yeah.
had to bring a container to drink out of that
Yeah.
wasn't a normal cup.
Okay, I
Yeah.
was gonna say I think we talked
Yeah.
about this before, but you didn't talk about the drink side of it.
Yeah.
Right.
It couldn't
So
be a
I
normal cup.
brought a beer belly. It's literally a like almost like a neoprene material.
A camo,
It's a camel pack for
a
your
camo
on your
back,
belly.
right? Camo
Yeah.
Right.
back, yeah.
Yeah. And it has a bladder inside of it, and I filled it up with a mixed drink. So that was my beer
course
belly,
you
and
did.
it had a hose that came up, and I, drank out of it, and
Yeah.
that was my
That-
cup that wasn't a cup,
You could
and
drink-
it worked.
You
I
could
mean,
totally drink like rum and coke or whiskey and coke, whatever, out of that, and it's hidden.
yeah,
look-
you'll never know.
You got a little beer belly.
Go right into a
Yeah,
football
beer
game
belly.
with that, trying to pat me down.
Yep.
Took me under my undercarriage.
Guarantee you that's whoever invented it. It was for that purpose.
Yeah.
Although it's
Guaranteed.
weird. Like, wait, Alex, I've been with you for 3 hours at this game, but you've lost weight. How's that possible? How's your belly gotten smaller and you've been drinking
And-
this entire
and you're
time?
not
and then,
working
and then
out
that's
'cause
when
you
I
can't
look
even
at you and
stand
go,
up.
"You lost weight. Oh,
You're
you-
drunk.
You're drunk."
These things.
So, but that's where I was. So with the whole Irish coffee thing, not only that's my go-to for dessert after we go out to dinner and everything. Also, there's a bit of an epidemic going on in my area. And I tried to explain this to my wife. We have 3 major grocery stores that are local, meaning within a 5-minute drive of our house.
Yep.
All 3
Nice.
of those local grocery stores decided to just stop ordering the Bailey's non-alcoholic Irish cream for coffee.
Wow.
Now, I live in the state of Delaware. We don't sell beer in grocery stores.
Yeah.
So I have to go to a liquor store to get my liquor and beer and wine. So I told my wife when I got home from a grocery store trip one day, and she asked me why I have a giant bottle of Bailey's from the liquor store. And I said, well, blame the grocery stores because they don't have any on the shelves that's non-alcoholic. So it looks like I'm making Irish coffees every single morning for work.
Yep.
Good thing you don't have
I
to
mean,
commute.
you had no choice.
Yeah. Like I my back was against the wall. I mean, what am I going to do?
Right. I got a feeling it's not the grocery stores. I got a feeling it's just not being supplied anymore.
I was buying them. Okay. They were going off of the shelves from
You
me
were the market.
once every couple weeks at least.
Hey,
funny.
so I was out with some buddies before this podcast tonight. I guess if I had to pick a shot, that's my winter shot. I had an Irish car bomb tonight, and I haven't had one in a
Wow,
while.
yeah,
like,
that's a
like
throwback.
speaking of Irish
Mm.
coffee, like
Yeah.
Guinness, Jameson, and Bailey's, I haven't had one forever. And Irish car bombs are so good.
I don't know
my
if I could chug one
winter
anymore.
shot.
Like we were talking about it, I think before the podcast. Like I could put down some booze because my metabolism was crazy. I don't know if I could chug anything like that now.
Yeah.
I
And
probably
it-
still.
Well,
I
I'm
probably
going to
chug it
find
too.
out.
And it was like a legit car bomb because obviously like some bars you go to, yeah, we can find out one time, but anyway,
Right.
some bars will give you just like a tiny bit of Guinness and like in the shot whatever, like this one actually gave like a legit half pint of Guinness with the shot to drop in. Of course I didn't drop it in because the whole Corona, I just poured it just in case.
Oh, okay. See, I definitely would have risked chipping the tooth just because it's. If you're gonna go, you got to go.
I
all the way.
know I felt ridiculous. I hated not. I should have dropped it in. I should have just done it. I
You
didn't.
so you're saying that because of Corona, the bartender touching it, you didn't want to drop it in, but you still touched it with your hands, right?
Yes, and I
Okay.
poured it in.
Right, and you still touched it with your hands, and now it's on whatever you
I
worried
felt
about getting
I
drink
felt
is on your
pressured
hands.
by the people around me. They made me feel pressured.
They were worried. They were worried for you.
They were worried for themselves, and Brandon
I-
didn't want to be the only one that didn't care and then be
Yeah.
judged.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
Although I did use my Pierce pressure, it worked. And Alex, you know my Pierce pressure.
Oh yeah,
You know about this.
that's
I have not
many-
been able to utilize my Pierce pressure, and obviously that's a play for anyone watching. That's a play on words for peer pressure. My last name's Pierce, so I've been known to have Pierce pressure of making people drink when they don't necessarily want to drink, and it's mostly shots. So I was with my buddy Bob, which Alex knows, and 2 other guys, they're both married, so it was a guys' night for really to get them out away from the wives, just have a guys' night. And they're drinking, and Bob drove them. Um, but they were just drinking beers, whatever. And they were like chugging beers and stuff. They were like down with that. But like, I want to do a shot, so I ordered a car bomb. So Bob's like, all right, fine. I'll get a Jameson. And the other two guys were like, fine, we'll get Jameson. So like the peer pressure worked.
Nobody
for
wants
the
to be that
group,
guy.
But I tried to get them to a car bomb, but they were like, no, I'm not doing a car bomb. I'm like, all right, fine. But they got the Jamesons. So
That doesn't make any sense. Like you're not going to do one little shot of Jameson and some beer. You're just going to get Jameson.
Yeah.
Like,
I guess
Yeah, chase. How you gonna chase it?
I know, right? Just combine the two. You don't have to worry about the chaser. It's
That's
all
right.
combined. It's like,
Two birds.
honestly, look, the Jameson, I can't remember the price of it. Bob had the receipt. I Venmoed him, but I guarantee you the Jameson probably costs what at a bar $7. Probably something
Yeah, probably.
stupid. The car bomb probably costs $7. In my mind, you get a shot and half a beer for $7 compared to just a shot for $7.
Yeah, the beer is gonna be $5 usually, anyways.
So get your money's worth.
that's great logic right
it's
there.
great.
You can't dispute that logic.
That's the logic of the better with beers. That's the better with beers logic.
I'm gonna put up a little overlay of a guy just doing equations.
I'm terrible at math except when it comes to alcohol. Drinking. But yeah.
And saving money.
Well, I don't know about that,
That's hilarious.
but yeah. So let's talk about Texas. Texas is wild right now. So we're like I said earlier, it's like a very winter themed podcast. Texas right now, the whole entire state has been. Look,
Why are we just hearing about Texas though? Because Oklahoma, Arizona's getting it. Why?
Right. Okay, yes.
Texas getting so. I'm just curious. I don't know. It's
I
weird.
don't know either. It is weird because
You hear more about it.
us in
I
the
think-
north. Go ahead.
I honestly, so my personal opinion, and I'm going to try to stay as non-political as possible, but I have a feeling it's because of
China. No, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I have a feeling it's because the governor, who has been under fire for a lot of things that he said through this entire transition between two administrations, and is now, he doesn't have a whole lot of emergency preparedness in effect for reacting to this level of snow. And I think,
I mean,
I think the large
Saudi
screen
Arabia doesn't
media-
either. I guarantee you.
yeah. How can
I-
how can you even be ready for something like that in Texas?
You're right
Well-
though. You're right though. Is that each side looks for a reason to poke at the other one for one reason or another. They're just
Right.
looking for something. Yeah. You're
And,
right.
and I think that's the reason why Texas is standing out, aside from all the other states around it, is because their governor has been under fire for a lot of things that he said throughout this whole administration transition, and that's
Not
those
only
are the
that,
headlines.
did you see the picture of the helicopter hosing down the wind turbine that was frozen solid? It couldn't move.
Yeah,
Like, there's a wind
Yeah.
turbine
Yeah.
farm, and of course,
Yep.
people were making fun of using fossil fuels to spray on an oil component onto a clean energy source so it can start making energy again. I mean, it's like, I don't care which side you're on, you got to at least find that ironic.
yeah,
No.
no, it's but yeah, that's
Yeah.
it is pretty crazy what's going
But-
on down there,
but-
though.
And it's crazy because like when they're doing, so if you're living in Texas and you're watching the Weather Channel or whatever you watch down there, literally the entire state of Texas was under the same advisory when this whole thing happened initially. The entire state of Texas. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's a pretty large state. There's countries in this world that are not bigger that can fit into Texas.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, a majority of the U.S. right now is going through like a severe winter pandemic.
We're finally, I think it's
whatever right
finally
now.
gonna start warming up. Like we're supposed to get like 60
right.
degree weather on Tuesday. It's
So,
awesome.
so like up here in PA, for the last 4 weeks. So like me personally, so for my job, I've had to miss 3 days, almost 4. Luckily on Thursday night, I was able to go in because it stopped at the right time. But like 4 weeks in a row, we've had at least 10 inches or more of snow, at least once or twice a week for 4 weeks in a row. Now, granted, in the Northeast, like snow's not abnormal, but it is abnormal for this amount, like every in a short amount of
Hammering on
time.
top of you just can't keep up with it.
So, but we're used to it, right? So I can only imagine like down in the southern part of the U.S. where they're not used to this, and but they're actually having it worse than we are having it in the Northeast.
so
Like we're having
bizarre.
it bad, but we're not going. I haven't had, and typically, I'm surprised I haven't lost power yet because I think Earl, you lost power
35 hours out.
35 hours. I've yet to lose power, even with the amount of snow we've had up here, which is surprising. But yeah, you've lost power. Texas, they're going through an entire statewide power
Well, it's
outage, and
because
like,
it's the ice. It's not just the snow.
well,
'Cause
the ice
ice
too.
is
Yeah, you're
so
right.
heavy. Ice is knocking down trees, which is falling on power lines. Snow sucks to drive in, and it will bring trees down and power lines down, or cause wrecks that'll knock down power lines. But it doesn't do it nearly as effective as ice will.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
So,
It's because down in Texas they'll get snow, but just like a lot of the all northern, you get like Montana, all these Canada, all these places up north, they'll get 10 feet of snow, and they're like, "What do you mean you're closing school because of snow?" Well, it's because when you're not super cold all the time. You end up getting a mix of snow and ice. When you get so much ice, ice is really
is the
the
bad
most
thing, yeah.
damaging thing. Yeah,
it's like snow on the roads isn't the worst thing. It's the ice on the roads.
right,
Like,
exactly.
And
when I was
black ice,
driving
you
home,
know.
you, at least Alex saw it. I mean, like maybe you saw it too, Earl. I put like a little story on Facebook of me driving home on, I think it was Thursday morning or Wednesday morning, one of the days, and within like an hour, it was already like a good like 3-4 inches on the roads, completely covered. And my car drove fine in it, but it was me coming to work that Thursday night with all the ice. That was like the dangerous part, sliding all over the
Yeah.
place.
Yeah,
Not the snow, because at least the snow compacts and you can drive on it, which is fine. But the ice is like that's the tricky part.
yeah, no doubt.
But so speaking of Texas, Earl shared we have a photo and a video of what's kind of happening in Texas right now. So I'll just go ahead and share my screen real quick. Let's see, share screen. This one. You guys see my screen?
Oh yeah, yeah. That's a picture I found online of a cactus, and each one of those little needles are encased in ice. It's like if that's not just a oxymoron of a picture right there.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, exactly. A cactus caked in ice. Each little needle. I thought that was pretty cool. Well, not cool, like it sucks, but pretty cool picture. And the other one was a video. So
Okay, so yeah, so a little context here.
yeah, go
So
ahead.
what I came across this video. It's this girl in Dallas parked in a parking garage, and it started as a TikTok. I found the TikTok first, and I just found this video when we were preparing for the podcast, which is better because it gives better pictures. But like here, even in Virginia, of course, I'm from Delaware, in more northern east, you're used to preparing for things like water freezing and your pipes busting. And a lot of pipes you wrap with wire to keep them warm, or at
Yeah.
least you've replaced them recently with something that can withstand the flexing of freezing water. So think of places like in Texas where they're not used to this weather, and that's not even something they think about when they start installing pipes and stuff. Pipes are busting all over the place in Texas. So it's not just the power outages, it's the frozen pipes that people don't know what's going on and why water is gushing out of the bottom of their house. This is a pipe that busts in a parking garage over a poor girl's car.
Yeah, let me make sure I can make sure you guys can hear the sound here. Share sound. All right. So it's like a 4-minute long or 3-minute long video, but is it only about a minute we're
It's
gonna
yeah,
watch.
just a minute.
And-
So yeah, the first story I wanted to
and we get if we have any reactions during it, we can talk during it. It's not like that big a deal. So Alex, you can react to it. It's fine.
I haven't seen the video yet, so
Exactly. So
this is
I'm telling you, like if you want to say anything during the video, it's fine. It's not gonna like interrupt anything.
Water problems, frozen and bursting water mains
guys
and
hear it?
pipes. As
Yep.
pipes thawed
Yeah.
this weekend,
Yeah.
more emergencies at homes.
holy crap!
businesses
Look at that.
happen.
Oh my god,
Thawed.
that's horrible.
it'll get to that girl here in a
And this is
second.
in freaking
Rupture.
Texas.
Dallas.
Others have lost their homes.
Dallas!
Or lost all access to water. Relief organizations are ready to
Oh,
deploy.
wait till it starts.
Oh
raining.
man,
Girl.
Fox 4's David Santendry live with that story tonight. David.
box spring is thrown out.
Yeah, Steve, businesses, homes, and even vehicles are certainly.
Here it comes. Wait.
It's safe to say this car isn't moving anytime soon.
Okay, so when I first walked out and saw it,
Safe to say.
It's safe to say this car's
Yeah.
not moving anytime
Yep.
soon. Yeah, you
Donna
think?
Vance's
job.
downtown Dallas apartment parking
Look at
garage
that, that's
leaked
crazy.
water all over her car. By the time she realized what happened,
I was like, oh my gosh, that's my car.
it was frozen.
That's not what she was
I'm
like. I saw
pretty
the TikTok she
positive
did
that the
after
back
that.
windshield is going to break or cave in.
Pipes are bursting all across Texas following the once-in-a-generation winter storm. A countless
Yeah.
amount of flooded homes.
And it basically flooded all
Yeah, you can stop it there.
throughout
All right.
the whole
So-
house.
That was pretty crazy.
Dude, yeah, find the TikTok, and it was a little jumpy on this video here, but this girl is like, she's crying in this TikTok because she shows the entire parking garage. She's in it in between levels. She's not on the roof. She's in between levels of the parking garage, and she shows with her phone on a TikTok the entire parking garage is dry, and the pipe directly above her car is the one that broke and
Yeah.
completely just slowly froze as it came down and just encased her car in ice.
That's
And
crazy.
she is crying. She's dropping all kinds of F-bombs and all that. It's, I mean, it's funny, but I don't blame, who would blame her? I mean, just like, what are the odds of that?
I know, right? It wasn't the same woman, was it?
Yeah, yeah. Was that girl they were just interviewing, or she was a lot
Oh,
more
she's
composed?
completely like
She was
nonchalant.
a lot more
dude.
composed. I guarantee you could probably
Yeah.
find the TikTok.
I was like,
2
oh
seconds,
my
yeah.
gosh, it's like
Yeah.
an ice.
It's
Like,
it's funny.
That's
It's,
my car.
You know,
yeah,
my
that's my
car.
no. She
like,
no, she was like crying, guys. Look, I'm the old. It's the only effing place that it broke a pipe.
Although,
break. Look,
I
this whole
can't-
garage. And,
I
yeah,
can't blame her. I probably
I
did the same
don't. I
thing.
don't blame her.
Like,
I don't blame her at all.
the-
No.
But the point, the fact, I mean, right, we're making
But
fun
they're
of it
not
a little
prepared
bit,
for
but
that stuff.
they're
They
not
don't know what to
prepared. But
do.
to them, like us in the Northeast, and especially people that live in maybe Boston, you know, up there, Michigan, that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
they're even more used to it. But like we're used to that crap. They are not used to this.
Well, there was also it was in Texas. I don't remember what part of Texas, but there was a 113 car pileup
Oh,
because of
yeah.
black ice. It's like 3 weeks ago or something like that. I'll put up a picture here. I think 6 people died. I mean, it's horrible,
Yeah.
but there's literally
Yeah.
tractor trailers that
Right.
got launched on top of vehicles
Yeah.
because nobody could stop. They couldn't see what was in front of them. Everyone's wrecking 100 and I think it was 13 car pileup, and people trapped for hours. 60 people went to the hospital with injuries.
That is a sad thing. 'Cause I was watching the news the other day, and I probably saw some of the same clips you're talking about. They were showing all the accidents that happened, and there some of them were brutal. I mean, cars catching on fire, like and all the deaths. Like it's sad. It's sad.
It really, well, and there's people that are dying in their homes because the power went out, and they're like, well,
Yeah.
I'm sure the power will come back soon because the only time they deal with power outages is maybe a hurricane in Texas.
And-
but hurricane doesn't usually go that far inland either.
Yeah, and I was listening to the Preston and Steve show today, which is a radio station up here in Philly, and they were saying that like homes in Texas, the way they're built, they're made to keep heat out, not
Right.
keep heat in.
Right.
But like if they're losing power, like imagine how we feel up here in the Northeast. You know, our homes are built differently, but if they're made to keep heat out, like they're freezing their asses off, and
Right.
all
Yeah.
the and like during the pandemic when it first started, you know, all the grocery stores are going empty. Their grocery stores down there are wiped clean. Like,
Yeah, I
you can't
believe
even
it.
get anything. Like it's brutal.
Like, even
We
around
and-
here,
and
when we,
honestly, like
ahead.
we crack jokes about it all the time around here too, because you know the weatherman will predict, you know, yeah,
Right.
we're gonna get about an inch or two of snow, and next thing you know, the grocery stores are completely like the parking lots are full. People are buying up all the milk and bread and eggs and toilet paper and just everything. And we crack jokes about it around here because we're like, yeah, it's just a little bit of
I
snow.
think a lot of it is mom mentality, though. It's like they know, like, but for some reason, everyone's running to get toilet paper, and now everyone's like, well, gosh, I don't really need it, but if everyone's doing it, I probably better get some before. And I don't know why. It's just like you're right though. It's like that every single time they call for snow
Yeah,
in an area you're used to snow.
right.
Well, the second part is too like typically when the weather channel says we're getting like 10 to 15 inches, we end up getting 3,
Right.
and we get if they 3, we get more. This year they actually been right, which sucks.
Yeah.
Like at least up in my area, when they're
Not here,
saying like
though.
when they're
They've fought for
saying
worse
8
here.
8 to 12, we actually got 8 to 12, if not more, every
Yeah.
time. Like, damn it.
We
Hey,
haven't gotten a decent
there-
snow here. We got like 2 inches one time, and it melted in, I don't know, 36 hours or so. So we got a little bit of sledding in with the kid, but they've called for more snow here, which some people are having. I don't know. Personally, I'm just gonna say it. I'm saying now. People can hate me. I like the snow. The reason I like the snow is because I like my seasons. I want to live
Well-
somewhere where it is hot in the summertime and it is cold and snowing in the wintertime. And I'm like, if it went to 20 degrees outside right now, I'd be happy. What I don't like is the ice. Ice is just, it's bad for everybody. But I like it to be cold in the wintertime. I hate going deer hunting in the wintertime and sweating in a deer stand because
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be cold. And yeah, so it's just, and it's a principle thing. It's how I grew
Yeah.
up. That's the way the world is supposed to work.
I agree. I do like the snow for the same reasons, but in moderation. Like
Yeah.
I like some snow a little bit, but when it's like so this year, we have seen snow. We have piles. We have like honestly, I took a picture earlier. I don't know if showing it now would do justice, but I went to the liquor store earlier night and bought those 2 bottles I showed you guys for the podcast.
Right.
And in that parking lot, I swear, damn near 2 stories. This pile of snow was. That's how high it was from all the
I said
plowing.
they got nowhere to put it.
So like I love snow, but not when it's every
Yeah.
single week and so much. Like I do love the snow, but it's just been too much. I'm done with it now.
Well, that's the thing. I wouldn't want to live in Alaska, even though I've been there. It's a beautiful place, one of the most beautiful states. I mean, the last frontier.
I do want to go there.
But I wouldn't want to live there because of the almost year-round. If it's not winter, it's just raining and dreary a lot of times. It's not super warm. But I also don't want to live in Florida either. You know what I mean? So I agree. You like to find that balance somewhere.
You would think like North Carolina's, or like even well, I guess Texas wouldn't be a balance because usually you wouldn't think of snow being down there. But
Right. Typically, well, yeah, because they're going to have freaking
North Carolina, Virginia. You would think to be I guess you are kind of a balance, aren't you? Really?
We are, and I mean, we get kind of same temperature, same weather as like Delaware and all that because we kind of get the same climates. But yeah, we haven't got much this year.
I was just trying to think of some states that have like a good balance. But
I've always had like this question kind of come up a couple times, and it's more like if you had to choose between the two extremes, whether it be extremely cold or extremely hot, which one would you choose?
All right,
why?
all right. Here's all right, because we're about to go in just a few would you rather winter related would you rather questions. Let's make this the first one. Would you
definitely
rather?
A good segue. I like
good segue. Very good segue, Alex. Very good job. Good job. So would you rather? Would you rather?
Thank you. I can't really golf clap you right now because I just tried to pour more of my beer. I'm sure if you went back and
what you're
watched
doing, you're like over here.
It's like he's like I gotta go, but I don't want to leave the podcast.
Yeah, are you pissed?
No. I kind of overfilled my beer just a little bit. It foamed up like crazy, and I grabbed it, and I'm like, and it just spilled all over the floor.
You
so
definitely look like you're peeing during the podcast. Like
it probably sounded like a little bit of that because I spilled beer all over the floor.
Oh man,
that's hilarious.
So
you're right though.
Would you rather, if you had to choose the extremes, be an extreme where it's what mostly warm the entire season,
or just like extreme heat or extreme cold? If you had to choose between one of the two, no temperates, no. I'd rather be warm. I'd rather be just.
Can we define extreme better?
Yeah,
honestly, I mean, for real.
What?
We're not talking about Antarctica.
Like what's the lowest?
We're not talking about Saudi Arabia either.
What's the lowest during the season and what's like the highest? You know what I mean? Like
15 degrees versus 110 degrees.
15. 100% all day.
But like all year round?
No, I wouldn't want either all year round. But if I had to pick, I'd rather.
I'm asking, like, are you saying like I've had to live in a place that's 115 all year?
No, just say let's say like 2 weeks. Like you're here for 2 weeks, and you have a choice whether you want to be in an area where it's 110 degrees for the entire 2 weeks and there's nothing you can do to change that temperature. You can't retreat into air conditioning. You can't, like it's just you're stuck at 110 degrees period, or 15 degrees and you can't retreat into a heater. You can't be around a fire. You can bundle up, obviously, because
it changes
you can't, because humans can't regulate their body heat that much. So you kind of have to wear some layers, but
so you can't.
It's still
it's that degree, and you can't go into a house that has AC. You can't go into a house that has heat. You're in that weather for those 2 weeks.
Yeah,
I'm choosing 115 degrees.
Wow,
I'd much rather just peel off layers.
You'd be like, you said 115 degrees.
Or 110, 115, doesn't matter.
Whatever.
115.
So you'd rather be hot.
Like over 100.
You'd rather be hot, is what you're saying.
Hot or super or cold. Right. 15 degrees. Like I assume we can have like obviously if you're 15-degree weather, you're allowed to have like layers, like jacket, gloves.
Yes.
Or you're gonna die. Yeah.
Right.
And if you're in 100 plus degree weather, you can take your
shed layers,
whatever, shed layers.
Right. But you're obviously going to be sweating like crazy.
I just might.
And no matter no matter how many layers you pile on at 15 degrees, you're still going to get to the point where you're shivering because your body can only like those layers can only trap so much body heat.
I know. So I'm picking 100 plus degree weather, like that hot weather. I'd rather
I'll-
just sweat my ass off.
I'll pick cold. If I need to warm up, I can do some calisthenics or
Fair enough.
whatever cardio,
Fair
whatever. It's just I'd rather be cold. I don't like being I hate being sweaty and sticky and just like so that uncomfortable.
Fair enough.
I would rather be just sit still shivering and maybe
No
even be able to
thanks.
do some exercises to get my blood flowing.
Yeah,
But
that'll
yeah.
last for like 20 minutes.
It would nothing like it's gonna suck either
And
way,
then,
just like all
and
the
then
would
if
you
you're doing
rather.
those exercises, you're gonna start. Look, for example,
Oh, there goes my toe.
for example, the girl I'm dating, I went over her house. I brought her lunch. I went outside and shoveled her car out and everything. It took about 20 minutes. I started sweating my ass off. Okay, sweat my ass off, and it's freezing cold outside. Next thing you know it, now I'm sweating.
Now you're
Next-
sweating and you're
Now once
cold
I
'cause you're
cool
wet.
down, now I'm even colder because I'm wet on the
Right.
inside.
That's fair.
So,
That's fair.
no thanks. I'll just be sweaty the whole time and be hot and warm, and that I know I'll never get cold.
I'm surprised though, as fair skinned as you are, I would think that you'd want to avoid the heat and
Well,
sun
trust me,
and
I'm
all
gonna
that.
I'm gonna.
He just called you white.
No, I am.
He
White.
never denied being white either.
I will not deny that for sure.
Slim Shady.
Alex, what's your pick?
So and it's funny every time I get this question, I feel like it's kind of somewhat unfair because not everyone has been in the super extreme heat and the super
Yes.
extreme cold.
And I have. We both have.
Right. And since I have, I can definitely compare the two. And I would say I would go for the 110, 115 degrees before I would go for the extreme cold. And primarily because once, and this may just be me, it might not be everyone. I've had cold weather injuries and I've had hot weather injuries. I've been severely dehydrated. I've been diagnosed with heat stroke. I've had frostbite on my fingertips, and I've had hypothermia. Well, the early stages of hypothermia, not extreme, but the very early stages of hypothermia, to the point where you're at uncontrollable shivering, and then you stop shivering, and that's when you start entering the danger zone of
Yay, Boy
hypothermia.
Scouts. Woo!
Yeah,
Have you had
that's
the
where I
silver-
got it too. It was at the Boy
I
Scout.
know.
Have you
Those
had
are
the, have you
You
had the
remember
sil-
that trip, don't you?
Oh yeah.
Valley
That's cool.
Forge.
have
It
you
was
had
like
the-
6 feet of snow on the ground. That was not fun.
Have you had the
I-
silver bullet?
Yeah, basically. It's
No,
yeah,
for the heat, the silver bullet.
silver. Wait, what? Silver
For
bullet.
the heat.
Coors Light. What?
No, the silver bullet goes up your bunghole when you over exhaust.
Is that a Marine thing?
Well, it's a military thing. I thought. Is it a Marine thing?
Is
All
that
right,
what they
well,
convinced you
okay.
that it was? Everybody in the military is
No.
doing it.
No, when you have a severe heat stroke, it's called a silver bullet. All right, let me look.
All right. So my hot weather injury, my first one was severe dehydration, where they dragged me over to the wood line. They stripped off all my gear and they cooled my body down enough to get me on the back of like a gator, and then they brought me over to the medical tent, and then they pumped me full of
Or that was you did not
saline.
take care of yourself while you're out there.
All right.
Yeah, that was 100% my fault for sure. It's like
least you own it.
maybe I should not have drank all those beers before I went out into the field in
Jeez.
105-degree heat in New Jersey with 99% humidity right before we started doing this whole field training exercise. Maybe I should have drank more water instead of more beer, but we all make our decisions, and that was mine.
So unfortunately, apparently, I did not realize this, but silver bullet is just a Marine thing. So what it says is it's a military slang. It's a thermometer, especially one used for rectal temperature readings. The corpsman will hit the Marine with a silver bullet after he passed out on a march in severe heat.
I feel like that's the only reason why they would do that for Marines, is to deter them from passing out on a march. Like, don't you pass out.
I
and you'll
mean,
get the
maybe,
silver
I
bullet.
got it ready. I got
But
it ready.
they always like warned us, like, hey, if you pass out on this run or whatever, and it's like severe heat, you'll get the silver bullet. And I never got the silver bullet. It was just a saying. I thought it was a military saying. Apparently, it's just a Marine saying.
Nope.
Um,
Never heard of the silver
right.
bullet
If
until
you
now.
don't want something up the ass, do not pass out.
Or just don't join the Marines.
I guess.
Okay.
Woo!
No, okay. Let me preface this. Both y'all been in the military. I've not been in the military. I lay down the jokes as I've heard them from other people. So I make fun of no one in the military on purpose. I just think it's funny jokes a lot of times, but I admire anybody who's been in the military. I'm gonna put
Hey,
that
you
out
know
there
what?
right now.
No, you've been in law enforcement, so you basically been in the
Well, I'm
military.
just saying
'Cause those
on
jokes,
the joke side, I feel like I'm making fun of Marines. I'll make fun of Navy. I'll make fun of Army just because I've heard all these jokes and I think it's funny.
Yeah.
But I just want to say, I it definitely. I got
Hey.
friends that have been. I got friends in all branches. So yeah.
If you could take a silver bullet, you can take a lot of shit.
That's-
Marines are. A
I don't
branch
want
of
to
the
think of
Navy,
that
right?
that way. Don't ruin Coors Light for me. That was like my gateway beer. You know, when I was like
Yeah.
16
Hey,
and
Coors
Marine,
Light
if you
ruined
pass
itself.
out, we're
beers.
shoving a Coors Light up your ass.
Yeah.
Wait,
It
let me
ain't
drink
about
it
life,
first
it's about girth.
or after, whatever, before or after. Don't
Right.
matter.
Especially when they came out with
Beer.
those new cans that like you could tell it was really cold because the peaks of the Rockies were blue.
Oh, that was
Yeah.
kind of dark too.
No, well, it looks
Well,
dark on the
not as
video.
dark.
It's actually relatively light, to be honest.
Oh yeah.
It's just the video. The screen's making it look that way. Like I have
Alright.
to shine a light on it. But it's a farmhouse, anyways. So.
We're getting towards the end of our episode. We're gonna keep it with a winter theme. I just have a few little would you rather winter themed questions
That's
here.
better.
Very simple. Very
That's
simple.
better.
Would you rather questions? Nothing crazy. But we'll just see what you guys think or what we all think. Very simple. First one is: would you rather build a snow fort or a cardboard fort? Which one would you rather do? They're both kind of fun.
Yeah,
I've done both in my childhood.
yeah, I
I
think we
feel
all
like the
have.
snow fort is a lot more work than the cardboard fort.
It
though.
is. That's it. I guess that's the trade-off, isn't it?
But like, I remember when I was now okay. I guess I'm expanding the snow fort, but I remember well, actually, Earl in 1996. Where were you living? Up in Delaware?
Yeah, it's in Dover.
You're in
That's what I'm-
Delaware. Remember
Hmm.
that big ass snowstorm in like around 95, 96? Like it was huge.
Dude, yeah, that was one that like after it snowed, it like had a layer of ice on top of the snow. I think.
So,
Or something
something,
like
but
that.
it was like a save
Yeah.
emergency for like days.
It was
Like,
bad,
so
yeah.
much snow. I remember building like I had a snow fort. I had tunnels going to the next fort. Like I was building so many snow tunnels. Like that was fun as shit.
So
It's temporary.
here's probably and that's probably why it's so much fun is because it is such a unique opportunity to take in.
Right.
It's that much more exciting, that much more fun because this is not something I get to do on a regular basis,
Right.
as opposed to be able to find cardboard in the summertime or whatever like that. So yeah, I agree that the snow fort would be more fun, probably because of I think it'd still be more fun either way. It's just
Yeah.
unique.
Yeah. it's unique.
Well, and especially when you got all the neighborhood kids involved, you know, like I know like where we grew up, or at least, you know, at the time, whenever we would have a major snowstorm, the whole town would push all of the snow into
Yeah.
one area, and that area just happened to be the field behind our house, or part of the field behind our house. It was, you know, like a little down to the left, but
It's all old railroad property. is what it
right,
was.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, the whole field that was behind our house where we grew up was owned by the railroad, and you know, obviously it was used for a lot more than that, but we and it like those mounds made for like perfect snow forts to the point where we didn't even really have to like stack up snow ourselves. We basically just dug holes and
Into the mound.
trenches into these mounds of snow, packed down some of the looser snow, and that was it. You know, snowball fights and snow forts and little tunnels going from one mound to the other. And
I will go ahead and I'm going to be the adult here and talk about the downside of that. The dangers of the snow cave-in. You don't have
Yeah.
much cardboard
yeah.
dangers of it caving in and burying you.
As
and
a
having-
kid, you don't care.
As a
but-
kid,
Right.
you don't care.
paper cuts.
But adulting
cuts.
thoughts these days, yeah, that definitely something to
Yeah.
think about. There's a little more danger in these snow forts, snow igloos than there was in cardboard
guess-
forts.
I guess my answer is just thinking strictly in the kid mindset.
Fun. Yeah.
The snow was so unique, so different.
I still
so-
agree.
So I'm picking snow just for that reason. Although I loved doing cardboard forts when I was like little too, I'm picking
Yeah.
it just for the uniqueness and like the rarity, also in a way.
100% agree.
What about you, Alex? What's your ultimate decision? You got to pick one.
Honestly, I would say snowboard.
All
You
right.
know, and then it kind of goes into the good old days of remembering back
Yeah.
when we were kids and used to do that kind of thing, because I don't know, I feel like that doesn't really happen that much anymore.
Yeah.
At
Well,
least not
kids,
around us.
kids, kids don't go out nowadays anymore.
Well,
Even,
not only
even
that, but
pre-corona.
and not only that, but there's no snow days anymore. Everything is virtual learning.
That's right.
I mean, during
That's true.
it used to be like, oh yeah, we got a snow day. It's a couple snowflakes on the ground, and they close the schools. Let's we got a free
Well-
day. Of course, they would always tack those days onto the end of the school year so that we lose a couple days from our summer. But at the time, it was a nice little break, and I feel like that's become a thing of the past because of virtual learning.
Right.
All right. This next one might be this next one might go quick because did I say because
because of a 10% beer.
yeah, bells and triples happens. But because I don't know if you guys have done both. I have personally done both, so I can at least answer it. But this one is: would you rather go skiing or snowboarding?
I'll be honest. Once I figured out how to ski, I didn't want to bother trying to learn how to snowboard. So I've not snowboard,
Easy
but I
answer for
enjoy
you.
skiing. Yes.
Yeah.
So
No,
I'd rather ski because I'd be learning a whole new skill if I snowboarded.
Right. I have actually done both, and both were like self-taught. And snowboarding is hard as hell. Snowboarding is
Yeah, I've
cool as
heard that.
shit. Now, if you ask me, would I prefer watching snowboarding or skiing, like on TV, like the X Games or whatever? I'll watch snowboarding. It's cool as
Oh
hell.
yeah, I agree.
But doing it, snowboarding is so hard. They always said it was like skateboarding. If you skateboarded, you can snowboard. I skateboarded when I was younger. It's not like that. You turn with the front, you turn with the front of the skateboard.
Like
you turn with the
it's
back
like
on the snowboard.
like skateboarding at 100 miles an hour
Yeah.
downhill.
Yeah, and you turn with your back foot, and it's like totally not as controllable or whatever. No,
Yeah.
I wish I could have done it. But when I self-taught myself to ski, I caught on. I was able to go down like what is it? Black Diamond is the hardest.
Black Diamond is the hardest
like,
one, yeah. Like
like
it's
the
like a
one-
blue
the one
square or
below-
something like
yeah,
that.
so
or, yeah,
I was able to do
blue
like
something.
below Black Diamond, like whatever's below that.
Pretty quick.
Just on self-taught, pretty quick. It was fun, enjoyable. So I'm going with skiing for that reason.
And you can move. You can change. Your feet actually have movement.
They have movement.
That's what kills me about
You can-
snowboarding. Is like you're
it's
stuck.
one leg.
This
You
is
have
where
one
your feet
leg.
are going to be. That's it.
Yeah, you have two legs, but you have one leg on a snowboard.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I
screwed.
agree. That's definitely a lot more inhibiting.
So this is another kind of, I don't know, like Boy Scout thing for us. I know Earl and I used to go to Blue Mountain, with the Boy Scouts. We used to go every single year. One of the scoutmasters that we had, he worked for the ski lodge for some of the first aid, responders, and we kind of reaped the benefits of that. So
I reap the benefits of that a lot.
Yeah, you did.
So okay, all right. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, Alex. You can
Go ahead.
continue, but all right. So I was about around the same age as this assistant scoutmaster's son was. Me and one other boy. So there's three of us around the same age, and because he was part of the ski patrol, he was a medic. He's actually National Guard also. So he is a certified medic, and that was a job he did on the side in the wintertime. The ski lodge is where all the ski patrol guys slept when they were working. Like they work for a week or a really long weekend at a time. And so when the slopes are open, they're out, they're getting injured people and they're helping, they're on their patrol thing. And then they all come back to the lodge at night, relax, hang out, have a few beers or whatever the case may be. He found a way to get us three boys at the time to stay in the ski lodge 100% for free for a whole weekend. And he found us free lift tickets. The only thing I had to pay for, or my parents had to pay for out of pocket, was lift tickets. So I got a free weekend long stay with free lift tickets at a ski resort for a whole long weekend, and as much we could run all over the darn place as much as we wanted to. And be honest though, that's how I really learned to ski, because I was doing it so much. It wasn't just one trip once a year that we were going on. But yeah, I definitely reaped a lot of benefits of that of his job there. So sorry, go ahead. That was
that kind of segues into mine. So I started out with skis, and I feel like throughout my whole childhood, I was always trying to, swim upstream and, not take the advice and actually take some lessons. And I was like, no, I can do self-taught. I'm fine. Skis, I rollerblade. It's kind of the same. Sure. So, strapped on my skis and everything and, have my whole snowsuit on and was like, all right, let's go. And my very first, I thought it was like an actual like slope. No, it was just the part that got you to the lift that took you to the
Oh,
slope.
From the rental lodge
Yeah.
to the lift cap place where the
Yeah.
it's like,
So,
100 yards.
I'm like trying. I got my, the poles, and I'm like, going like a professional skier, like, yeah, let's go. And I'm going faster and faster and faster, and I didn't know how to stop. So I figured that out. I'm like, oh, I started freaking out, and I see this little a half kind of put up orange construction fence that was supposed to like kind of direct you to the right, which is where the ski lift was. And the slope that was on the other side of that construction fence, it made it look like it was just a cliff of nothing. So I'm getting closer and closer and closer to that fence, realizing that I don't know how to properly stop. I'm freaking out. I'm screaming. Pretty sure, my dad is behind me trying to catch up to me, telling me just to stop. And eventually I just throw myself down
Just
on the ground.
stop. Why don't you just stop?
I didn't know how to stop. I didn't know the whole put your
Cross the
legs
street.
out like
Pizza,
that
pizza,
and just
pizza.
slow down everything. No, I didn't know. I did not know how to do that. I threw myself on the ground.
That's one
No,
way to
that's the
do
way to do
slid
it.
for
That's
a
how we
couple
always did
feet.
sledding. When you're sledding, you're going fast down the hill. When you start coming close to a tree, you
off.
just bail.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what you do.
So I bailed, and I'm pretty sure I was a little embarrassed and everything, and I was like, man, that was a crazy hill. And my dad got there, and he's like, that wasn't the hill. This takes us to the hill. Up here. Like, okay.
Yeah.
So we get all the way to the top and everything, and I'm pretty sure I went down like 95% of that hill on my butt.
Yeah.
And that was my first skiing experience. But I did try snowboarding out after that, and I feel like the only reason why I tried snowboarding was because I felt like a dork with skis, and I'm like, oh, I want to be cool and
But-
do the snowboard because
Some dorks can be cool though. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
right.
but-
So I'm gonna do the snowboard just because I couldn't do
Yeah.
skis. So
how'd that
somewhere in
go?
my mind thought
How'd
I
that
could do a
go?
snowboard.
How'd
That's
that
the
go?
question.
It went horrible. I was on my butt the entire time. Like I was
Snowboarding is so hard.
scooting around. I couldn't figure out how to. The first
Dude.
time I fell down, I couldn't figure out how to get up. It took me
I know.
a good like 30 minutes.
You have one leg.
Right.
Turns into one leg.
And, like,
it's so hard.
I had some random guy that was trying to teach me like how to get up because I still refused
Yeah.
to take any legitimate lessons.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, just slam your feet down to kind of like cut like a slit into the
Yeah.
snow, and then kind of go into like a crouching position and throw yourself forward and stand up.
Then we're-
I look like I was
Then you
drunk.
throw yourself forward and you just go straight down.
Yeah.
Yo, I'll tell you one of the scariest parts, like even with skiing, when I first started learning skiing, even actually if I go ski right now, probably still the same thing, is when you're on the so what's the lift?
Yeah.
And you're getting off the lift. That lift's going so fast and you're trying to get off it. And like it's
Oh,
so
yeah.
scary trying to get off it. I busted my ass so many times. getting off
What's
of
most
that.
scary though is that there's someone there waiting just to slow
Yeah.
it down because there's people that fall all the time. What I don't want to be is that guy that slows the lift down.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So it's like,
And
it's like,
then you
let
end
me
up
at
doing
least
it.
let me at least launch far enough away that it won't affect the lift, and I will still, even if I fall flat on my face.
And the guy that's always there at the lift to help people off, you see the look on his face. You're like,
He's there for
he's
entertainment.
thinking like, are you going to be that guy today? Are you going to? No, I won't be that guy.
And what's
He's
bad
looking-
is he's
he's
a
looking
teenager
forward
that's
to it.
there on a winter job,
Yeah, you don't care.
Yeah.
He's there for that entertainment.
right?
So we
Should
all
be there
picked
handing out
skiing.
lollipops for us.
Yeah, I pick
know,
skiing. I pick skiing.
beginners.
Yeah.
All right. We'll close it out with one last one.
All right.
Again, should be a simple one. And actually, Alex kind of segued into it without realizing it. because you mentioned
He's a
rollerblading.
Segway master, man.
It's Segway master tonight.
Right.
Would you
Paul
rather?
Blart, Paul Blart.
Would you rather ice skate or rollerblade? 'Cause you mentioned rollerblade before.
Rollerblade. I've done both, and learning how to rollerblade does help you with learning how to balance and ice skates. But ice
Yeah.
skating, unless you have really good ice skates that cut into the ice like super sharp, you don't have as much grip as you do with rollerblades.
That's the thing. 'Cause those ice skates the roller skates that you rent at a roller skating rink, you can make do with those pretty good.
Yeah,
The ice skates that you rent at an ice skate rink,
they're
suck.
flat. They
They
flat.
s- and like your ankles are they're like wobbling all over the place. Like it's hard.
Yeah.
But
I've never done. Yeah, I've never done it with like professional ice skates before. So
even though it's a lot harder, I'm a lot better at rollerblading. I have a lot more fun at ice skating for some reason. Even then,
It's
like
I
even
see. I
busting
think
my
for-
ass.
because everyone's falling down. That's
I
what's fun
know.
about it.
That's what's fun about it. I
Yeah.
bust my ass. The person I'm with busts their ass. It's so funny. Like just that comedic aspect of it.
I agree.
That's why I'm picking it.
You guys ever done the synthetic ice rinks?
No, I want to though.
No, they're horrible.
No.
The one we did, because they brought one to the local town one winters like 3 years ago. It's like we have the artificial ice skating. I mean, it was winter time. Don't get me wrong, but there
But
was
not
zero
yeah.
grip. I mean, it was bad. Like
Really?
I can handle my own and maybe fall a few times on an actual ice rink, but this thing there was no grip at all. It was terrible. I was like, no, I was like, I'm gonna break my ankle. I know it. It was bad.
Man.
So I don't know. Maybe it was bad quality because I know those things are legit. It's like really popular, but the one I was on, it was completely different from ice skating, and it was halfway terrifying because it's like
Yeah.
I can't get hurt. I gotta work. So,
What's your pick, Alex?
I've only been ice skating like, I don't know, 3 or 4 times in my entire life. We don't live close to Canada, regardless
don't have
of
to.
what some
No,
people.
No,
Indoor
you'll
ice
have it
skate, dude.
they'll have it over
there's
when we
indoor
go.
ice
I know.
skating. I'm sure-
That was a
I'm sure-
hockey joke. It was a hockey joke.
I'm sure. Oh, okay. I'll say. I'm sure you've been up to like University of Delaware and they're in indoor.
They
ice
use
skating
Yeah,
rink
no.
and everything
So
like
I've
that,
I've been to the University of Delaware one. I've been to the Harrington one, and those are the only 2 that I've ever been to. But
I mean, it's
um,
Delaware. It's not that big, so it's probably the only 2 in the whole state.
yes, it
Okay.
is absolutely the only 2 in the whole state.
up where I'm living now, there's quite a few around to pick from.
Right. So, so maybe like for me, I did a lot of rollerblading. Like that was my thing. Like, you did skateboarding and
Yeah.
everything. I did rollerblading.
Roller hockey. We did street hockey all the time growing up.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
We
You had
had
those
fun.
street hockey. We had street hockey pucks and street hockey
Sticks.
balls.
Yeah, but the balls were better than the pucks. Pucks were
Ball,
they were
the pucks
gimmick.
were
They were
the ball-
both freaking dangerous though.
They're both dangerous, but the balls were
hurt.
better for street and roller hockey. Yeah.
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 But I did a lot of rollerblading, and not just like
You're doing
so
like
I had a
inline-
couple different
inline
sets of
skating.
rollerblades. I had the rollerblades that were
skating.
meant for like
Inline,
half
yeah.
pipes and skate parks and everything, and then I had the
Yeah.
rollerblades that were meant for like street hockey
Yeah.
that
yeah,
were like meant for going a little bit faster and
yeah.
I don't know. I
Getting
guess
those
I'm kind of
rubber wheels.
on the same page with the fact that the rental skates at the skating or the ice rinks and everything really sucked, and the rental skates that you would get from like a roller rink were a lot better. You can get
Well, that's
the
because
rollerblades.
rubber wheels are rubber wheels,
Yeah,
no matter
yeah.
where
either
you
way.
go.
So, like,
But if you go to an ice rink and you want to rent ice skates, the places renting out ice skates are like, all right, sorry, but we're not going to give you these razor sharp blades that you're likely going to fall on your butt on. It's
Why
just-
not?
No,
either way, people are falling in their butt. and
that's right. They're going to fall
that's
either
what's
way.
Funny. It's
So
so
like, yeah,
funny.
we'd rather not
Including
have you
myself.
cut off your hand when you do it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
We're gonna be dating ourselves here, but you guys remember the Muddy Ducks?
Oh yeah, that was a great
Remember that
movie.
scene?
That
Remember
was
that
a
scene where
fun
like they're
one.
sharpening
No!
skates and they got like they're sharpening these
Yeah.
skates with a
That's how
like
they
a
do it.
grinder, a bench grinder.
Yeah, because you got to be able to cut into the ice and get that grip. So no, that's how professionals do it. It's just I've never worn professional ice skates, so I can't.
Yeah.
I can only go on what I've used, and I've used cheap rental skates, and I don't blame them for not putting a sharp edge on them.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
can't
No,
blame them.
I don't either. I wouldn't trust me with a sharp edge either. But
no.
Totally.
Like, we're going around on ice with
Sure.
katanas on your feet.
Yeah. So, but you know what? For that reason, though, I'll choose ice skating only because
Yeah.
kind of like the same thing of
You don't
like
get to do it all the time, and
like the snow mounds and everything with making
Yeah.
snow forts versus
see that.
cardboard forts. You
Yeah.
don't get to do it all the time.
That's
It's a
true.
rare thing. And you know what? If somebody showed up on my doorstep and said, "Here's a pair of professional, ice skates," I would probably, figure out when the first time, I could
can
use
use them.
them and use
Yeah.
them just because I've never used professional ice skates, and I'd be really excited to use them, and I'd probably
Is it
have a
just
lot of fun.
me, or does falling on ice hurt more than falling on concrete?
Oh,
Oh, it
yes,
does. It hurts
absolutely,
real
Why?
bad.
absolutely does.
Neither
don't
one
know-
of them give at all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Why?
I don't know the science behind it, but it definitely hurts way more.
I don't.
know.
All I'm thinking about is falling, and yeah, ice hurts.
And then sometimes like you're screwed and you can't stop. So instead of falling on the ice, you try to go into the boards to stop, but then you can't even stop into the boards, and you slam into the boards, and that hurts too. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but it's like fun. It's like that's
It
like
is.
it's like
It is.
fun,
Yeah.
fun
It's
and slash
like
funny
bumper
either
cars.
way. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's weird.
I honestly, I think it's like a mind over matter thing because, like, honestly, when we look at ice with, like whatever little piles of ice shavings that are kicked up from people stopping, really fast or whatever, it's like we automatically think in our heads, it like we relate it to snow, and snow is fluffy and it's white and it's soft, and we kind of like relate it to like a soft, fluffy white cloud versus concrete. We know that's hard. Like there is no soft version of concrete, whereas there is a soft version of shaved ice that
Yeah, I
could
guess.
potentially loosen the blow.
Oh,
That's
no, I
that's
still
the only
feel-
thing I'm thinking of.
It's possible, but I still feel like it hurts more. I don't know why.
Yeah. Well,
Is
I
it-
mean, it definitely hurts more.
Maybe it's because you're more likely to fall on ice than you are on concrete. So falling on ice more often, as opposed to less often falling on concrete, it's going to hurt more. I don't know, but
I don't know. I've fallen on concrete a lot, a lot.
I believe you.
We all picked ice skating. I think we all picked ice skating there, right?
Yeah,
Overall.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, I
Alright,
said
well-
either way. Yeah.
Well, yeah. All right, well, that's our winter podcast. It was good.
That was fun.
That was fun.
I hope everyone's staying warm. I hope everyone's power is back on.
Yeah.
We don't want, there's a lot of people that are actually doing really bad off right now. They can't go to work, and times are already tough with
Yeah.
COVID and everything going on as it is. And with having power off and maybe cars crashed or anything going on, just everyone look out for each other is all I
Yeah.
can say. And look out for those who can't take care of themselves very well.
Yeah, and like we said, like snow is enjoyable for a certain amount of time, but I'm over it now. Let's get the spring. Let's get the warm. Let's get back cornhole. Let's get back golf. Come on, Alex. Right? Golf.
Yeah.
Get
Yeah.
it.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
I'm
It's
down at this
going.
point. I said that to my wife earlier. I said, you know what? At this point, obviously, we're done with snow. I'm just ready for warm weather because
Yeah.
we've had our fair share of cold weather and cold, just
Yeah.
cold in general. I was like, you know what? All right, I'm down. We were talking about what to do tomorrow for the day on Saturday. Tomorrow Saturday. We usually film on Fridays. It's like, all right, I want to start walking around the house looking at the yard. What do we got to do for the yard for the spring? So I'm transitioning my mindset already.
But this was good to do a winter episode. I like this.
Yes.
I like this, especially
Yeah.
with what's going on. Global
Oh, yeah.
warming. Global warming. I don't know what the hell's going on, but something's going on. But
Global warming somewhere, but it's not here.
Yeah.
yeah, it's global warming. It's warming in Germany, apparently. In Europe, they're all warm
Right.
over there now.
That's
It's
funny.
completely flip flopped. I don't understand.
That's hilarious.
But
Yep.
thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure you subscribe, like, comment, follow us on social media below. Follow us on Untapped. We should definitely get an email going. So once we get more people watching us, they can email us questions, segments they think we,
In the
suggestions,
meantime,
that
put it in
kind of stuff.
YouTube chat. Yeah.
In the meantime, in YouTube chat. Other than that, cheers our Belgian triples for the night, and we'll pick a new style next week. But cheers, guys. Oh,
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Take care.
cheers, Viking.